Dr. Hovind, I love your doctoral thesis. I've torn it to pieces with house and gaffle. I can't remember when I last pissed myself laughing. It's a good thing the thesis mopped the piss off the floor.
Welcome to part 30 of this read-through and peer review of Kent Hovind's doctoral dissertation, which was published on wikileaks.org on December the 9th, 2009. If you have not yet seen the previous parts in this series, then I recommend that you go back and see those first, as in this episode I will start off exactly where I finished off in the last. In the last episode, we reached a significant milestone in our ascension of Mount Stupid. We finished Chapter 1. In this episode, we continue on into Chapter 2, accurately titled The Religion of Evolution. With a title like that, you just know we're going to need to recalibrate our bullshit detectors. And Kent doesn't disappoint. Let's continue. It has long been my contention that evolution is just another religion. Oh dear, the needle's just gone off the scale. Kent, it may be your contention. However, it's still wrong. Whatever. There is no empirical evidence to back it up, so it is certainly not a part of science. Kent, a correction is needed here. There is no evidence that you believe. There is certainly a mountain of evidence to back up evolution. Evolution as in evolution by natural selection, as put forward by Darwin. If you don't believe it or you don't understand it, then that's your problem. For the rest of us, well, we're just going to take it as fact, as the evidence that we believe and we understand is somewhat overwhelming. But we'll leave Kent to fantasize. The evolutionists say that man made God instead of God making man. Who is right? Well, Kent, going by the track records in question, I would put very good money on it not being you. In this chapter, I would like to discuss the evolution of religion, or the religion of evolution. Which is it? Well, I don't know, Kent. It's your doctoral dissertation. You're the one writing it, and if you don't know what you're writing, which I think we've proved that you don't, then there's going to be a little bit of a problem. As for the question you pose, well, the former is somewhat documented and can be charted back through time. The latter, well, that's just something you've made up. But anyway, the public schools have been teaching for the last 50 years that religion has evolved. We have been taught that man started off believing in many gods, worshipping the rocks, stars, etc., the caveman philosophy, and that he gradually developed monotheism, brackets, the belief in one god, close brackets. Well, yes, Kent, there's good evidence for that. We'll go into that evidence a little later on. He goes on, yet archaeology seems to tell us that just the opposite is true. Kent, you don't go into museums very often, do you? It tells us that man has always been a monotheist and worshipped one god. Really, Kent? Are you sure? I mean, even in the Bible, your Bible, it actually clearly states that other cultures worshipped idols, worshipped multiple gods. In that very statement, Kent, you are actually contradicting the very thing that you are arguing for the Bible. You dumbass. Anyway, all of the ancient cultures seem to teach us just the opposite of what we are being taught in our public schools today. Yes, Kent, and among those teachings of ancient cultures was that the world was flat, and if you sailed to the edge of it and kept on going, you'd fall off the edge. Various diseases were caused by the possession of demons, and that if you wanted to influence future events, then you just simply had to offer a blood sacrifice, be it an animal or a human, to the deity of your choice. In modern times, we've come to realize that all of that is bollocks. So, therefore, as a result, we don't teach it to school children anymore. Kent, if being completely wrong was an Olympic sport, you would be holding a gold medal right now instead of Ray Comfort's banana. But we go on. Religion has not evolved. Yes, it has. Man did not create God. Yes, he did. God created man. No, he didn't. Since evolution is just a religion, it should not be taught in public schools at taxpayers' expense unless all religions are going to be taught. Yes, Kent, and just try teaching Islam, Satanism, and the Jedi Code in school and see where it's going to get you. I'll give you a clue, Kent. They don't teach evolution by natural selection in religious education. They teach it in biology. That's because it is a science. Evolution by natural selection is scientific in nature. It is scientifically verifiable. It is studied by scientists. Disprove that. And while you're at it, Kent, you will have to concede that in order to disprove it, you will have to use science to do it. But anyway, in 1963, the Supreme Court ruled that if a parent or child objects to certain materials being taught in the public schools, the child cannot be removed from the class because that would violate his constitutional rights. The court further decided that the objectionable course or material would have to be removed. This case involved the question of prayer and religion. Yes, Kent, I can see how that would make sense. And seeing as we're talking about prayer and religion, we have to consider that we're also talking about public schools, funded by the taxpayer. There's a little thing called separation of church and state. But anyway, the precedent can be applied to sex education or any other questionable material. Yes, Kent, you yourself have 3 children, as you say, one of each. Exactly which part of the mechanics of sexual reproduction do you find objectionable? I haven't seen a photograph of your wife, so I couldn't possibly comment. But anyway, the ruling also said that no government building or facility may be used to commit inhibitions or hostilities to godly religion. Ah yes, the church and state thing again. There may some reading this who may remember when prayer was taken out of the public school system. I was only in the 5th grade and did not understand what was going on. Kent, I seriously suspect that you got all the way through school and right the way through to your graduation, and the same was still true. That's probably why, to this day, you continue to still get all of your scientific information out of 5th grade school science books.